You know, I sort of like what's going on right now where we get this information where Sony might be losing an exclusive. And what's interesting about this is it looks like they're losing an exclusive that wasn't even announced yet. So that's even better news when you hear stuff like this. It really keeps the kind of fanboy narratives down. For instance, you know, for me personally, I look at the way that Microsoft handles business in a different way than Sony, and I more gravitate towards that. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think people look at these things as different ways. I always look at Sony as, in the past, they'll do something where, let's say they hold a showcase, right? They'll hold a showcase and they'll announce something that is years away, and they'll get away with that, right? They'll get away with that 100%, you know? Look at Wolverine, right? That was announced in 2021. Nobody's clamoring for that game going, they better have that game. It better be ready. You know, nobody's saying that, but a game that Microsoft would announce in 2021, people are already flipping out about and saying that Microsoft should have it ready and that it should be, you know, out there, and that, you know, it's a different double standard that we're seeing. This in this instance, like, people go, well, crap, I thought you didn't like remakes or remasters. And, you know, don't get me wrong here, right? I'm trying to be as honest as I possibly can with this. It's not that I hate remakes or remasters. I think that Sony is getting a lot of credit this generation when the only things that they've really done are remakes and remasters. And people go, oh, that's not true. And I'm like, okay, well, let's take a look at some of these kind of facts, okay? The Spider-Man game from 2018 was remastered for the launch of the PlayStation 5. They also did Demon Souls remake, The Last of Us remake of a remaster, Ghost of Tsushima director's cut, which, as we all know, a director's cut, that is just a remaster, you know. Death Stranding director's cut, that's another one. You know, again, they announced the KOTOR remake, Silent Hill remake. It's like all these games are getting sort of remade or whatever, or remastered, and it's like, I just feel like and now it's rumored that Horizon Zero Dawn is going to get a remake, and The Last of Us Part 2 might get a director's cut. So at some point, I think it's a little bit ridiculous and it gets a little bit redundant. That's my point. Not that I totally hate it. Like, are there games that I think should be remade? Like, I don't really have a problem with, they want to remake some of these old Resident Evil games, right? Those games are decades old, so it makes sense. On the Xbox side, I totally wouldn't mind them remaking the first 3 Fable games, right? I mean, you got a new Fable game coming out. Give something to the people to remind them of what it is in the first place. That makes a lot of sense. You know, when it comes to Sony, I feel like Sony is, like, they do have some property that they probably could. Like, what about the Ratchet and Clanks from the PS3? I think those would probably do okay. Why not take another shot at PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale or something like that? So anyway, I'm going to get into this. The rumor is Metal Gear Solid Remake is going to launch on multiple platforms, not just the PlayStation 5. Despite rumblings that it was going to launch on the PlayStation 5, it looks like it's not. I'm going to go ahead and link this. In spite of some recent industry ramblings to the contrary, a newly emerged report claims that the remake of Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater won't be a PlayStation exclusive after all. The claims surfaced shortly after one industry insider suggested that Metal Gear's revival is imminent, which, again, if you like those games, which I like Metal Gear, I don't know if I would jump into Part 3. You know, I know that's like technically a prequel to the first one, I don't know. But reports about exclusivity deals between Konami and Sony have been circulating online for several years now. And of course, the latest such claim emerged earlier this year, suggesting the rumored Metal Gear Solid 3 remake is not only real, but also a PlayStation exclusive, which that would, you know, again, the more people that can play these third-party games, the better, right? Are we past that point? Like, can we admit that it doesn't make a whole lot of sense for a lot of these third-party games to be exclusive, especially if games have been on, you know, multiple platforms previously? Like, I don't understand the whole thrill of that, you know? Anyway, so yeah, that's kind of how I look at this thing. But a newly report from Insider Gaming alleges that it's not the case, citing unnamed sources who believe Metal Gear Solid 3 Remake will also be releasing on PC and the Series X and S. The PC version of the game is said to be destined for Steam, according to the same report. While the jury is obviously still out on the veracity of these claims, the outlet behind them has a really good track record, with Scoops having most recently predicted the release date of Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon. So, taking this newly emerged report at face value still doesn't discount the possibility that Metal Gear Solid 3 Remake could be a timed PlayStation exclusive, even if that doesn't come to pass and the game ends up being the same day multi-platform release. Most insiders who recently chimed in on the matter seem to agree that the remake will be unveiled at the PlayStation Showcase coming up. Again, that would make a lot of sense. I think a lot of people kind of associate PlayStation and Metal Gear. Like for me personally, I think that that's fine. They want to unveil it or whatever. It makes a lot of sense to do that. I think as long as it's on Xbox, that's good, because there's fans that like this series on Xbox. Like, I know people want to pretend like that's some kind of out of pocket statement, but honestly, they do. They like Xbox. So, people that like Xbox can like Metal Gear. Like, never understood why people think that they would be otherwise. But again, apart from this remake rumor, a few reports also suggest that Konami might end up re-releasing at least one other Metal Gear game. The PS1 original is the likeliest candidate for a total remake, at least from a standpoint of technical feasibility. A significant portion of the fandom would rather see Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots escape PS4 exclusivity. But yeah, like for me, for instance, right, the whole reason why I bought a PlayStation 3 was to play Metal Gear Solid 4. And it was a really, really good game. I thought they painted themselves in a corner a bit with the story and Snake and the whole aging thing or whatever. But at the end of the day, I felt like, it was a good game and it really kind of showcased what they could do. But the fact that that's been tied to PlayStation for however long this is now, when did that come out? 2007, 2008? I mean, it's been over a decade and a half. So it makes sense to kind of move on from that and kind of get things going in a different direction. Let more people play these games. If you want to revive a franchise, right? So let's say you want to revive Silent Hill. So what do? Oh, well, if you're Sony, you buy, or you buy the exclusive rights for Silent Hill 2 Remake, because that's going to revive it, right? You've got 25 million Xbox users. Right? You don't think any of them would buy this? Like, if you want to revive something, why on earth would you ever, in a million years, ever limit yourself in the platforms that it's available on? I don't understand it. Maybe one of you can explain that to me. I don't understand it right now, but hopefully we see some kind of change in the future with this kind of stuff, because I feel like I thought we were past this third-party exclusivity stuff. We're starting to see more and more of those games kind of dissipate from that. They'll come out on one platform because they're smaller developers, and then they'll make it on one platform and then move it to another platform. But at the same time, when I look at this kind of stuff and I go, what's going on here? I kind of see that Sony is still very much into buying these games and kind of doing things. To me, it doesn't matter whether you're buying the game exclusive, timed, the studio, it doesn't matter. If you're getting content, you're getting content. And I always look at that as a way to kind of look at it and go, well, this is why, Microsoft, I don't understand why Microsoft can't get Activision. If Sony's doing this same type of thing, it doesn't matter if they're buying the publisher of the game or whatever, they're still doing the same thing to get content. Fair is fair, in my opinion. So anyway, I would like your thoughts and opinions on this. Let me know. Sound off below. I'll link this article in the description. You can check it out. Looking forward to the PlayStation Showcase. Let me know about that too. What do you expect to see? Rack 'em up. I'm Crap Gamer. This is Crap Gamer Reviews. Please hit that like button. Crap Gamer